Something weird started happening in early 2024. A sudden, deep freeze hit a part of the economy that, most of us don't really talk about. It's an industry that kind of operates in the shadows, but here's the thing. It often acts as this surprisingly accurate barometer for our financial health. And right now, that barometer is flashing a huge warning sign. Something is definitely wrong.
This quote from a worker right in the thick of it just hits you, right? It perfectly captures this feeling that's been spreading like wildfire through private forums and quiet conversations. It's this really unsettling sense that business hasn't just slowed down, it's like it fell off a cliff. For a lot of people, this isn't just a bad week. It's a silence that's totally unprecedented and, frankly, pretty alarming.
So what is actually going on here? Is this just some predictable slow season, or are we looking at a symptom of something much, much bigger? We're going to break it all down, look at the evidence, and investigate everything from the big economic pressures down to the specific shifts happening inside the market itself.
All right, let's start with the most obvious culprit, the economy as a whole. I mean, it's no secret that when people start getting nervous about their wallets, they change their spending habits. And those little changes, they create these massive ripple effects that end up in the most unexpected places.
You've got what is basically a perfect storm of economic pressure. Inflation is making everything from rent to groceries way more expensive. At the exact same time, all this talk of layoffs in the news has people clinging to their cash. And what's the very first thing to go? Discretionary spending. The money for wants, not needs. And to top it all off, a brand new, powerful competitor for those dollars has just exploded onto the scene. Legalized online gambling.
What this means is that workers in this industry felt the tremors of a cooling economy way before any of the official reports came out. They saw it with their own eyes. Fewer bookings, smaller tips, clients who are suddenly trying to haggle. They were literally on the front lines of a major shift in how we're all spending our money.
This phenomenon is so well known it actually has a name, the stripper index. And yeah, it might sound like an informal, kind of funny economic theory, but the logic behind it is totally sound. This kind of spending is a pure luxury, which makes it one of the very first things people cut when money gets tight. So a slowdown here can be a really clear warning sign for what's about to happen in other parts of the economy.
But look, the economy isn't the whole story here. There are these really powerful forces inside the industry that are making a tough situation even worse. The entire market is basically being reshaped from the inside out.
This slide here really shows the shift perfectly. After the pandemic, we saw this massive flood of new providers enter the market. A lot of them younger, Gen Z workers who are looking for flexible ways to make money. This just created a huge oversupply, saturating the market to the point where it's become incredibly hard for anyone to stand out from the crowd.
And what's making it all so much worse is this growing crisis of trust. The platforms people use to advertise are now just flooded with AI-generated profiles and straight-up scammers. This makes clients super wary. Even the long-term regulars are pulling back because they don't want to get ripped off. And of course, it's the legitimate providers who end up paying the price for it all.
Okay, so picture this. You've got fewer clients, way more competition, and a total breakdown of trust. This leaves workers facing some incredibly difficult choices. I mean, how are you supposed to survive in a market that feels like it dried up overnight? That's the core dilemma they're all navigating right now.
It all comes down to this high-stakes gamble on pricing. Do you slash your rates just to get any business, even if it means devaluing your brand and maybe attracting dangerous clients? Or do you hold your ground to protect your long-term value, knowing you might not make any money at all in the meantime? There is just no easy answer.
But people are getting creative in response. Instead of just a race to the bottom on price, a lot of workers are getting strategic. As you can see, they're doing things like offering special deals to their loyal regulars, or niching down to focus on a very specific type of clientele. They're doubling down on their personal brand to stand out. And for more stability, many are diversifying into online content, building totally new ways to make money.
For some, though, the pressure is just becoming too much, and they're starting to think about leaving for more traditional, quote-unquote, regular jobs. But switching careers isn't a simple fix. It comes with its own set of really unique challenges, from dealing with stigma to trying to explain an unconventional work history on a resume.
So, this brings us all the way back to our big question. What does this slowdown really signal for the rest of us? Is this industry truly the canary in the economic coal mine? Well, all the signs are pointing to yes, but with one really important catch.
This chart tells a huge part of the story.
You see, the economic pain is not being felt equally across the board. While the mid-tier and independent workers are getting hit really hard, the high-end, elite providers, the ones who cater to the super rich, are reporting that their business is actually holding pretty steady.
So let's be really clear. This is not a story about rich people cutting back on their spending. This is a story about the middle and upper middle class, the people who have some disposable income squeezing their budgets tight. The ultra-wealthy, they're largely insulated from this kind of pressure, and that tells us exactly where the economic pain is really being felt in our society.
And that leaves us with one final and pretty crucial question. If this industry is our early warning system, what's coming next? As more and more of us have to tighten our belts, which other businesses that rely on our extra cash, things like fine dining, boutique retail, travel, which ones are the next canaries in our economic coal mine?